Okay, this morning we are going to start lying back on our mat over a blanket. So if you can get yourself a blanket, I'm using just like a throw blanket off of my couch. Another good option is a towel, like a full-size towel. If you have a specific yoga blanket, great, use it. All right, good to see everybody. Do a few things here and I'll get us started. Okay, so if you found your blanket and can make it somewhat like a square, and then whichever edge you feel like is maybe a little bit longer, start to roll from that edge. Pretty packed. So it ends up kind of like a Tootsie Roll. Now I like to lay over the blanket with my butt on the ground because we're using this for a bit of a chest heart opener back bend shape. So with the seat on the ground, you'll get a little bit more of that experience. If that feels uncomfortable, you can definitely sit on the edge of it. It's just a little bit of a balancing act, not much, but a little bit to lie all the way back. And then if your blanket is shorter and your head ends up off of the blanket, you might want to grab a second so that your head is not doing this full tilt lying back. Okay, so you kind of have to play around with it for a moment and then try to settle in. Start with your feet planted on the floor and your arms pretty wide out to the side. Take in a couple of breaths, like big, really full belly, ribs, chest kind of breath. If that's feeling settled enough, then stretch your legs out along the mat and see if that still works for you. Hopefully this doesn't put us back to sleep. Just enough opening and awakening to get started. Just really give yourself the opportunity to feel what's against the floor, feel what body parts are against your yoga mat. Feel what body parts are against the rolled blanket. Notice the body parts that are kind of held in space. Shoulders, the outer edges of my shoulder blades, lifted and held all by themselves from the support of the blanket along the spine. The balance of my legs against the yoga mat. And then bring your hands, if they're really wide, in very close to your body along the mat. and what that little difference makes you do. I have to get a little firmer in the legs so they don't roll off one side of my blanket. Just in that little bit of change. Okay, take an inhale breath, and as you do, kind of like you're tracing the breath, lift the arms up and overhead. And then on the exhale, arms come back up and lower down by your sides. And do this for 4 more breaths. Inhale, you lift the arms up, overhead. Exhale, arms go up and all the way down by your side. 3 more times. Inhale. This month in the Hub is all about the mantra, be imperfect. I woke up and just knew my body couldn't handle a really intense practice, but I can still move. I can still have a full body practice and experience on the mat. Just starts a little slower in the opening. Go 1 more time for good measure. And that allowing of self-compassion, I think then does come into the model of letting go of perfectionism. Roll off to the side, and then if you can just draw the blanket away from you and roll back down so you find the mat again. Soles of the feet on the mat now. All the parts of the body that were lifted from the mat, now really see them melt back down. Take the arms out towards a T shape. And let your legs go side to side like little windshield wipers. And then bring the knees into your chest. Give a nice squeeze, keeping the head on the ground, shoulders on the ground. Just squeeze the legs in. With your hands, can you kind of push your knees around in circles? So you're making circles on the ceiling, go in one direction. And go in the opposite direction. Okay, here's a little different one. Hand on either knee, and then like you're doing a rowboat, take your knees out and around to the side. This is always really nice, calm, and settling for me along the pelvic floor. Sometimes I have a little sciatica that pops up, and this is a bit soothing. Row in the opposite direction as well. And then ever so gently flip yourself all the way over so that you're on your belly. Take the hands wider than your mat, fingertips to the mat with the elbows up to the sky, and take the feet as wide as your yoga mat. So this exaggerated cobra pose, and then inhale, lift your chest up for cobra. Good. Slowly come on back down. And then do that several times with your breath. Inhale. Guide your way up. Exhale, guide your way down. Look over one shoulder if that feels nice as you lift up. Kind of take your time, play in this movement, do what feels right for you. Up and down a few times. Okay, and then we'll push back to child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, press your hips back. Reach your arms out nice and long in front of you. Maybe even be on the fingertips so you get that extra couple of inches of the wrist lifted, extra height along forearms, elbows, upper arm bones. Walk both hands over to the right side. Really expansive reach out to the left fingertips, pull back on the left hip. Walk the hands across the center and on over to the second side. And then come back in, come up to all fours, and do cat and cow. Allow yourself to shift side to side, back and forth, up and down. Again, really just exploring the movement, knowing that there's no perfect way to do it and there's no wrong way to do it. You're free simply to move. Good, yogis. Stretch into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And cultivating this self-compassion throughout this week, the quote I've leaned on says, the thing that is really hard and really amazing is giving up on being perfect and beginning the work of becoming yourself, from Anna Quindlen. Downward facing dog. Take a couple more breaths, really stretch into it. And then lower your knees back down to the mat. Sit back on your heels. Interlace the hands, flip the palms, and reach the hands up to the sky. Press through your thumb and your first finger. Big full opening. As you release the hands, come forward to all fours, and then turn the hands out to the side. Pause and stay there if that's your maximum, or turn the hands another 90-degree turn so that the fingers face towards the knees. Try to look a little forward of your mat. Grip the earth underneath the finger pads. Make the arms as straight as possible so you get that great stretch in the forearms. Ask for a deep flexion in the wrist. And then gently, slowly turn the hands back out to the side and forward. full plank pose. Stretch both legs back. Bring the heels together, squeeze your glutes. Lengthen the tailbone, tone the abdomen, look a little bit forward. And then take the left hand slightly in front of the right hand, like just more forward than the right hand. And turn to side plank, left hand outer edge of the left foot. Right leg can cross in front or stack. And then lower the right hand down at that same extra length and flip over to the other side, outer edge of the right foot. Stack the feet or step the left foot forward. Come back to both hands and walk it down to your forearms. Go right forearm, left forearm. Just like before, try to look a little forward of the hands rather than down in between the elbows. And then change to dolphin pose. Walk the feet forward, more towards the line of the elbows. And as you do that, you can look back at your feet. Either stay in dolphin with both feet down or play with lifting the right leg up. And then swing it down and lift the left leg up. And swing it down. If you're playing with the swing and lift of the legs, do each leg twice. Walk your feet back into your full length of forearm plank. And then everyone lower your knees down, stretch back again into child's pose. Okay, come out to your forearms with your knees still on the ground. So it's kind of like all fours, but you're on your forearms instead of on your hands. And then you're going to take your hands behind your head or on either side of your head, a little higher than the ears. Think side plank, and you'll balance kind of on your left elbow, left knee, and try to lift your right side out to the side, right elbow towards the sky. I don't get very far. That's the work there. And then the right elbow goes down. And again, thinking like side plank, right elbow, right knee stays down. Lift the left elbow up and out to the side. And then set it down and go back to the first side again. This is something I used to work on with in physical therapy. Go back to the second side. Due to a stiff thoracic spine. That's all the stuff we're working on right now. Okay, go back to your full forearm plank. Forearm plank. And crawl back up to your hands. Full plank on the hands. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Slow and methodical today. Now lift your right leg up. Lower it back down. Lift your left leg up. So like, where do you find the freedom, the expansion, the lift? With a sense of holding steady from hands across the shoulders and chest. Lift the right leg again and set it down. Lift the left leg and set it down. This time, pull the right knee into the chest and hover forward. And then step it all the way forward into your low lunge. Inhale, lift your right hand up. Exhale, fingertips to the floor, to the outside of your foot. You do this one twice more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower it down. Good. Inhale, lift up and stay. Bring your hands behind your head, point the right elbow up, up, up towards the sky, and lean your head back slightly into your hand. Down dog lunge. Bring the right hand to the inside of your foot, spin the back heel down. Walk the hands out towards the left corner of your mat. The hands can also walk more towards the long edge of the mat. Give yourself a little bit more room and space. Fine to do that. And then as you bring it all the way back in, step the right foot backwards to downward facing dog. Do the same on the second side. So left knee pulls into the chest, hover forward, and then step it all the way through into the low lunge. Set up a nice long lunge, knee over ankle, keep the feet hip distance apart, all the good things. Okay, the left hand gets to do that play of open and close. So left hand swings open. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, lower down. Notice how the hips shift ever so slightly as you do the work to open across the spine and torso. Keep the left hand high. And then hands behind your head. And push your head back into the hand so you get a little more expansive back bend, but with support. Down dog lunge. Take the hand down to the inside of your foot. Spin the back heel down. And walk your hands out over that right corner of the mat or more towards the right long edge of the mat. The whole time, keep moving the left knee away from the left shoulder so it's pretty broad there, not falling into the center. And walk the hands back in. Step backwards to downward facing dog. Be as steady in this downward facing dog as possible, so it might take a breath or two to find where you can stay steady. And then stay with it. Breathe here. A really good push down and forward. And the hands are drawing up in the hips, draw down through the heels. Keep breathing, but steady the pose. One more breath. Now walk your hands backwards to your feet. Standing forward fold at the end of our yoga mat. Hands to the waist, point the elbows to the sky, push down into your feet, come all the way up. Yeah, let's walk to the front of the mat. I'm hoping you have enough room to take your hands out to the side and up. And then out to the side as you fold over and down. Just that, twice more. Inhale, arms out to the side, lift up. Exhale out to the side as you fold down and over the legs. Out to the side, lift up. Out to the side, lower down. Okay, half lift. Keep the right foot forward. Step your left foot back into a lunge. And then come up to high lunge, hands to the waist, lift the torso. Yeah, really nice. Arms to the sky. Bend the elbows, goddess pose. And then can you twist here? Look over towards your right thigh. Squeeze your left glute, it helps. And then come back to the center. Stretch the arms up high again. Try looking up at the hands. Can you move your hands further back and keep trying to look at the hands so the whole body has to go back a little bit? And then drape the hands on either side of your front leg. Spin the back heel down and come up to warrior two. And warrior two, first, focus on the front thigh, bend and straighten a couple of times, and then stay in your lower point. Broaden out from inner thigh to inner knee. Extend the arms in either direction. So feel that greatness of expansive abundance here. Reverse warrior, sometimes called exalted warrior. When I'm looking to really find that full lift of expansiveness, exalted feels like the right word. Right hand up, left arm down the side. You can really use the left hand along the left thigh for support or less so. Side angle pose, elbow to the knee, left arm palm down overhead. Or go right fingertips lower down. And then again, frame the front foot with your hands in a low lunge. Three-legged dog. Can you take your right leg in and then all the way up and back? Set it down to the mat, come forward and plank pose. Lower down. Cobra, just cobra, don't try up dog here. Keep the legs, the thighs, top crest of the pelvis on the floor and then lift so that it's really focused on upper body opening and expansion. As you lower down, press to child's pose. And then from there, go to downward facing dog. Walk your hands backwards to your feet. And stand all the way up, arms out to the side as you come up. Palms right into the center of the chest. Notice how you feel. Might feel a little imbalance. Let's walk up to the front of the mat so that we can get to the second side. Yes, inhale, lift up. Arms out to the side and up. And again, we're doing this twice. Exhale, out to the side and down. How do you have to stay in the legs and the abdomen to hold yourself through these long, full lifts up? And then the arms out to the side, fly down. Arms out to the side, fly up. Okay, we stay over this time. Touch your toes. Inhale, half lift. And then left foot stays forward. Step the right foot back. Come up to your high lunge. So hands to the waist, lift the torso. So a real full stretch, forward in the left knee, back in the back heel. And then arms out to goddess. Do a twist. Back to the center. Straighten the arms. Can you look up? And that can you, when I pose those questions, is just that. You can say yes or no and do it or don't. And then can the arms move a little further back, and with that, your whole upper torso. Woo! Lower the hands on either side of the front foot. Spin the back heel down. And find your way to warrior two. Come on upright. So the front foot points out towards the short edge of your mat. The back toes point towards the long edge of the mat. We know this. Straighten and bend until you're in a good spot here. Keep the hips wide over the shoulders. Shoulders over the hips, I should say. Gaze out over your left fingertips. And then we'll try exalted warrior. Palms up. Reach the left hand high. Side bend here, so it's a huge reach and stretch along the left ribs as we crunch a bit on the right side. Elbow to knee, top hand, palm down overhead. And again, if you're like a little further, reach here. Left fingertips to the floor works. And then once more, frame the front foot. And pick the left leg all the way up and back to three-legged dog. Set it down, come forward to plank pose. Lower to your mat, cobra. Remember keeping thighs, crest of the pelvis on the ground. Lift the chest, hug the elbows into your side. Probably still some bend in the elbows here. And push back to child's pose. Change to downward facing dog. And again, walk the hands backwards to your feet. Stand all the way up, arms out to the side, come high. Palms together, center of the chest. Pause, breathe. Notice what you notice. Okay, from here, open your eyes back up. If they were closed, take your arms out so they're kind of like a V shape. And then pick your right knee up towards the right elbow. I'll change, I'm mirroring you. And then the right hand tries to swing and hold on to the outside of that foot. Keep this out to the side so the chest can stay lifted and open. And then go as straight as this allows for you. I try to get the part above my knee and a part below my knee to be straight, maybe about perpendicular to one another, and then more lengthened in the entire limb. It comes back in and all the way down. Both hands out into that wide V shape. Good, let's try it on the second side. Left knee comes up towards the left elbow. Arm goes to the inside to try to grab hold. Hand to the outside of the foot. And first working on that perpendicular shape. And then towards a straighter leg. Bring it in and down. Stand on two legs. Shake it out a little bit. Malasana, yogi squat. Turn the toes out, heels stay in. Bodhi is rolling around on the couch beside me, which is making me laugh. All right, so I'm gonna sit low into the legs. Palms come to the center. Use the upper arm bones to press slightly into your legs to lift taller into the spine. Take the right arm low and forward so that the left arm can lift and expand. This works with the arm to the outside of the leg also. Go to the inside if works. And then to the second side, so the left arm is going to try to drape low into the inside of the thigh, which helps to kind of pin that leg back, and then the other hand up. And you can think about how this progresses and why we want that arm to the inside if possible, because it would progress to a bind with the hands clasping behind your back, having kind of wrapped in that front thigh. Come back to the center and then sit fully down onto the mat. So just kind of catch yourself and sit down. Lie all the way down onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest. Recalling what we did in the very beginning, like a rowboat, take your knees around. And then in the opposite direction. I hope this slightly more mellow pace and instruction has felt nice today. Set the soles of the feet on the yoga mat. One last little bit for like a figure four shape. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Point the knee out to the side. And then pull the left leg in. You can wrap the hands to hold under the thigh or on top of the shin if you'd like. Okay, and then if you unthread the hands and with that right leg on top, cross it fully over so the legs are more like eagle, and drop both legs over to the left side. If you're like, oh, I do not like that extra cross, you can uncross the legs and stack them and still do the supine twist. Come back to the middle as you uncross the legs, soles of the feet on the mat, and then cross the left ankle over, point the knee out to the side, and pull the right leg in. So you unwrap the arms out to the side, take the left leg all the way across now, again, like eagle legs, and drop both legs over towards the right side. Be sweet and easy with your breath as you unfold this back to the midline. One last little squeeze. And then take your final pose of stillness. Either stretch the legs out, arms out as you lie back, or take a seat of reflection. Do try your best to let the body be still so that we slow down and are still internally best we can as well. If you're lying back, take your time to come back to a seated position. I hope this practice gives you the opportunity to continue to cultivate your self-compassion throughout the day. Close again with this quote from Anna Quindlen. The thing that is really hard and really amazing is giving up on being perfect and beginning the work of becoming yourself. Let your palms meet together, thumbs to the sternum. As a way of closing this space and opening into the next, I sing the sound Om. You're welcome to sing along, to listen, or to tune it out. Empty out the breath. Inhale, deep breath in. Thank you all for coming to this practice, taking the time for yourself. Thank you for the practice itself. Namaste. All right, lovely to see you all this morning. Hope that felt nice for all of you.